Hello everybody, my name is Aceface, welcome back to EVE Online. We're going to do another episode with this super duper cheap Gila fit actually, because Bergstentwitch, also known as Freany, told me that this fit can actually run T5 sites, or at least if you're lucky. And it is really nice that there's potential for that, because this ship costs like only 200 mil something. We'll check the price later. But it is a really cheap fit. Like, we're using Tech 1 large shield boosters. The concept is that this is used doing electrical sites. Electrical sites give us boost to the capacitor. We're also using not a full low slot with damage modules, rather we're using a power diagnostic system to give us the power grid necessary for the large shield boosters, as well as a little bit of a boost to our capacitor, which helps us run these large shield boosts in the electrical side. We're also using less than one launcher to give us an even boost to our capacitors. So this is obviously really risky because we've got low DPS, so time could be an issue. But I think we maybe could run a T5 site because we were able to run the T4 site before. Let's see if we can run the T5 site. I'm actually running one booster, this Agency Hardshell TB5 Dose 2. This gives us a boost to our shield boosting capability, so it'll make our boosting even better. And also, another thing I need to tell you guys is that it's important that you train Biology 5. This skill right here, I can't stress this enough how useful this skill here is here. Look here, Biology 5, only 250k skill points. So this will take you about, I think it's like a week of training, or maybe even less. Depends on your attributes. But this makes it so that all boosters, including cerebral accelerators, work a lot faster on you. So it will make everything more efficient in terms of both your ISK per hour if you're using boosters to farm abyss sites, and also it will make it a lot faster when it comes to the skilling case. We don't want to dock there again, but it'll make it so this a lot faster when it comes to your cerebral accelerator skill point generation. So the cerebral accelerators will make so you get a bit of a boost to the skill points. The skill points you accumulate when normal training, but if you use the biology skill, those will actually train even for a longer amount of time, so you'll be able to get more out of your cerebral accelerator. So really, if you really want to get the most out of your boosters, definitely train Biology 5. It's something I think you really, one of those essentials which are really useful down the line, sooner or later. So we're on the test server as per usual. I do not feel like risking the ship unnecessarily when I can get it for free on the test server, and I think this is really nice. Really appreciate CCP for allowing us to get free stuff, or almost free stuff, on the test server, because this allows us to do a lot of experimenting and testing, and I think that's really cool. We're using the dual large shield boosters because of us having no shield in terms of our tank, or in terms of tank capabilities. My T4 and T5 Gila use a single medium shield booster. This guy is not using one but two large shield boosters on the single cruiser. So chaotic electrical, let's go. T5 guys, T5 in this 200 mil ship. We could, you know, get the whole ship back, maybe from half the ship back from one side, because of how cheap this ship is. And he seems to run this by not having it as like a consistent thing, but just that he pays off the ship so quickly, so he's able to run these and actually earn ISK because of how cheap the ship is. So eventually he'll lose it, at least what it seems like. But the thing is, he gets so much from the T5, so it doesn't really matter. Let's go for the snarecasters. This will be an easy wave, easy wave. Let's use our tanky drones because they will do a bit of extra damage to, or have a bit of better tracking capabilities on these drones here, because rogue drones are very small, very tiny. If we have these Imperial ones, I think they'll be a bit better in terms of how fast, even though they do less DPS than the Tech 2 ones, but they'll track a tiny bit better. And I think in the end they do actually go through them, at least what it feels like. A lot of these sites I do, when I talk about it, it's based off my experience and not really scientific evidence. I'm a medical student, so science is something that I deal with a lot in my everyday life. But the thing is, in the abyss, I have to go off a lot about what I felt, or what the feeling has been like from actually running a lot of these, because I haven't actually been taking notes from running these or anything like that. I've not been using DPS third parties programs. In fact, I should probably use that sometime. Actually, that'll be pretty good, interesting to see what the DPS is like. Maybe we'll actually get more conclusive evidence to what is the better strategy, using Tech 2 drones against rogue drones, using not them against rogue drones. Also depends a bit on your skills. My skills are almost maxed, so I have really good tracking to begin with, but I think that if you have lower skills, it could be you'll benefit a lot more off using the faction drones. But If you've got better skills like me, I think it'll be less use, so I'm not 100% sure. But it seems like we're doing this alright. I mean, rogue drone waves, honestly, are never really an issue. It's like the easy mode. It's like the break, basically. You get the break during the abyss sites by running the rogue drone wave. So, but it'll be amazing. If we can do a T5 in this 200 mil Gila, that'll be amazing. We also, as I've said before, we used a 1 shield booster, and then if an emergency happens, then we use 2. And also we have the ability to overheat, so that's even nicer right there. So we have a lot of like room to spare. We also have the blue pill right here, and actually I'll put this here just in case we need it. Let's just pin this inventory here, because I'm not used to having boosters. I hardly ever use boosters or like these like pills, drugs here during combat, because I don't like to have to rely on them, because it just is extra ISK per hour you have to sacrifice, unless it really increases your efficiency. But in the case of using these cheap fits, it definitely is worth it, because you need to get all you can out of the fit. Okay, so we basically destroyed, annihilated these rogue drones, destroyed them right there. There's no tomorrow. Really easy right there. They went down like flies. Good time as well. 3 minutes in a 200 mil Gila in a T5 site. Okay, and also dog crap loot. So 5 mil from that one room right there. And it's not that on the test server the price is skewed. The price seems to be very accurate with the loot here. Actually, one thing though. The chaotic exotic does cost more, so okay, it is skewed tiny bit. Remember to recall our drones. I forgot to recall my drones last time. The chaotic exotic costs about 20 mil. Okay, so if we've got 6 mil, we get about like 20 mil, so 26 mil, I think so. Abyssal prices for the abyssal filaments have been going down quite consistently, so I don't know if it's 20 mil anymore. I think it goes maybe for like 18 or 15. It's really like, it's all over the place. I remember at one point the chaotic exotics were going for like 25 mil. Now it seems to be, I think it's maybe 20 mil, maybe even less than that, but whatever. But the point is, these are worth a lot more than 100 ISK, as it says here, because we're on the test server. Okay, so this should also be a pretty easy wave, because all we can do is kite here, but we've got an afterburner, so we'll have a bit of a hard time keeping at range from these rogue drone battle cruisers, because they have a really short range. And we also want to use faction drones when we're against these guys, because they do a lot of damage. They really love to kill drones, and they have really good tracking at close range, so they'll rip our drones to pieces. So let's send them on one of them. We'll send it for the, what is our lowest resistance? We've got EM obviously, but we've got after that the kinetic. So we want to go for the strikes, because the strike grips do kinetic damage, so we want to get the highest damage dealers off the grid as soon as possible. Otherwise they're all the same, they just do different damage types. So the ember grip, like a fire ember, will be doing the thermal damage type, and strikes do kinetic, and the blast, like an explosive blast, do explosion damage. But you can see here they're pretty easy. You just keep range, and that's all really is to it. Go down pretty quickly. I want to keep a range from this deviant automatic suppressor, because it is shooting down my missiles probably. And that's obviously going to reduce my DPS as well as potentially damage my drones. You can see my drones are taking a little bit of damage. It doesn't seem like they're being targeted by any of these rogue drone battle cruisers, because their boxes around them have not gone to yellow, they're red. So that is also a really good thing with the faction light missiles, because I'm able to hit out so far. It's really nice. I'm so used to having to shoot at 30 kilometers. I noticed that in the beginning of this room, actually, I wasn't even shooting, because I'm just so used to using the 30 kilometer range missiles. But that's really nice, actually. But I still think, in actuality, it would be better to have the Tech 2 ones, because they do quite a bit more DPS. But it's really cool, though. It feels good to be able to hit out at 40 kilometers plus. So they can see here, by the time they come to me, they're only a tiny bit faster than me. I'm using the afterburner, so it'll go down very quickly. So it seems like the last wave is going to determine if we live or if we don't live. I can imagine if there are a lot of starving Leshaks, we have the potential to die if they have blinding as well, because it'll make it so that we're forced to come close, and if we're forced to come close to the starving Leshaks, we're going to get neutered to death. Unless we kill them fast enough to actually negate their neuting capabilities, which hopefully we'll do. I've run a lot of these sites, so I'm pretty experienced with these, even though it may sometimes seem like not when I just sit there and forget my drones. But it is... I've run tons of these sites. I think you can see in the activity track over here, there's something, if you go in utilities, I think, or in the social, no, in the ship, there's something called an activity, personal activity tracker here. This thing makes it so that you can see how many abyss sites you've actually run, and you can actually see how many you've run with that, like in total, like even which type of filament site. So I've run like, I think it's over 1,000 abyss sites in total, and that includes like T1s as well. So, and this is over the course of 2 years, so obviously it's like it's not like I spend crazy amount of hours a day, right? But it's obviously over a long amount of time, so it's quite, and it's something I really I find interesting and do a lot in the game, so it's quite natural that I've done quite a few of them. Annihilated this wave, really done really easily. Let's go for this bioadaptive cache and see what the third and final wave is, which will determine our fate if we survive in this T5. I hope we do, really hope we do. Okay, let's go. As I said before, I'm using only a few implants. These are just to get my missiles to have a tiny bit more range and a tiny bit more damage. It honestly won't affect really how well I do. It won't really do a make or break, but I happen to have them in there from a previous fit I used. But those are still some decent implants you could probably invest in, even if you aren't running these super cheap Gilas eventually, because they're with these missile bombardment skill ones, you get a little bit extra damage. Precision makes you apply slightly better to the small ships. So it's really good to just have them. Alright, third and final wave. We're making really good time here, 8 minutes. Okay, so we get another one of these rogue drone battlecruiser waves. So hopefully we will win this site now, or beat this site. We've got the spark grips, so we wanna be careful because they'll do extremely high amounts of damage to us because of how they're using the EM damage type. We've got also a lot of field weavers, which could be a bit annoying, but since we've got the 40 kilometers range on the faction light missiles, we should actually be able to kill them, or at least kill them pretty easily, because we will be able to hit out them. And it seems like they're kiting. Actually, you can see 60 kilometers away. Let's get a bit close. Actually, we need to get a bit close to actually be able to do damage decently to these guys, because they're going slightly out of lock. Actually, no, I want to keep range now, because the thing is, if we're too close, maybe we'll take damage too soon, and also we'll not. Maybe we'll the burst could maybe be too much for us. But actually, if we can shoot the field weavers now with our missiles, which is really good. Okay, that guy went down really quickly. Let's shoot our heavy missile on the spark grip because it'll apply all good to it, and we can shoot here with the light missiles. This is really good. That's a lot of field weavers. Actually, I'm not used to seeing that many field weavers. So they're gonna remote rep this guy a ton, but we'll take them out one by one in our light missiles. It's really good. All right. So this guy said that Freany, he said that you could actually sometimes run up to 10 Abyssal T5 sites in this ship, so I can see why it seems to be working pretty good. I still want to see how the Charybdis Tyrannus fares out. I'll probably try again sometime, not 100% sure, but it seems to be working out really well. We're not getting any drone aggro because we're just killing them so fast, actually so damn fast. We're killing these rogue drone battlecruisers. It seems to be really easy to actually make our way back to the bioadaptive cache, because we want to, okay, we're taking drone damage. Recall our drones, shoot all our missiles on this blast grip. Soon dead. We've just got to recall our drones a bit, and we'll send them right back out again at these rogue drone battlecruisers. So important to pick out the drones that don't have a lot of damage taken. You can see here I'm taking the ones that have, okay, there's one there with full HP, but I was a bit of a little bit, I didn't have so much time to make that decision, but we just picked them out, the ones that have more HP, so that if they get targeted again, they'll not have a large risk of dying. Because it has happened that I've taken drones, for example, like this one here that has a lot of damage already done to it. I've taken it out, and because of how little HP it has, the rogue drone battlecruiser just one-shots it. That's quite unfortunate when that happens. Alright, this blast grip is coming really close and in hot, but there's only 2 of these guys, so it won't, I don't think it's going to be any issues whatsoever. Also, explosive damage is one of the types of damage types that we have got very high, so we're obviously going to take very little damage from that, but it doesn't seem like having any issue whatsoever in this T5 site tanking. That's really cool. Also, remember the booster, guys. That's an important thing to have, because it does increase our tanking quite a bit. I think about like 10 or 15% damage. Well, no, actually it was 5%. Yeah, what am I saying? Okay, recall our drones. Let's shoot with the light missiles on the field weavers, because they are repairing this guy. We don't want to have unnecessary amounts of repairing, because the more repairing this guy gets, the more slower this will take, because of the more high amount of HP we have to get through, because of them getting more HP from being repaired. You can see here that this guy is also getting repaired, so that's also a good thing, because if you attack this field weaver, you can see here these other field weavers are actually repairing him, so they are not focusing on the main guy who's going to do damage, which is the Ember Grip. So it's good that we actually focus on the field weaver. You can see here this guy almost died. He had some, no, actually didn't die. I thought that was structure, that was actually armor. But you can see here, they do get repaired. So he was taking armor damage, now he has full shields. And that's it. This T5 site is done. The Field Weavers are obviously extremely easy. They just repair, they don't do any damage at all. Or I don't know if they do damage, but they do hardly any. No, they don't. So you see here, they're not even targeting me. So really easy, super easy. This went really well. I do think this can die, and it definitely seems like this can die in the strong waves. If there's an unlucky spawn, like lots of starving Vedmax, for example, they'll do tons of damage, tons of neuting capabilities. This is a decent alright in terms of neuting capability, resisting neuting capabilities, because with using one large shield booster, but there's not so much tank. So if it uses 2 large shield boosters, we're obviously going to have very bad tank, or not tank, we're going to have very bad neuting resistance. It's not even cap stable with both the large shield boosters on, so they'll die really fast. Also, if you're unlucky, you spawn directly on top of an orange cloud, we have a very slow with the Afterburner, so we're not going to be able to get out of the orange cloud, so we're probably going to be stuck into it. And if you have that and starving Vedmask at the same time, there is a big risk that we'll lose our ship, and probably even guaranteed with this fit. But that doesn't happen so often, but it has happened to me actually, that I have spawned in a huge orange cloud that like surround the whole area, so it'll take me forever to get out of it, and also that there is a lot of starving Vedmax on the grid. So it seemed like this super cheap 200 mil Gila survived the T5 Abyss, guys. Really, this is amazing how he managed to survive. I didn't expect that. I can see it dying in unlucky spawns, but it's still amazing for what you can do with this 200 mil ship. Hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I'm going to go back to the restock place in the test server. If you did enjoy this video, please leave a like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later.